Sometimes I have trouble deciding what to cover here on the channel. There's so much to watch and talk about, and I can't realistically get to all of it. So when I find myself stumped on ideas, I often like to put out a poll and ask the viewers what they'd like to see. And this time around, there were 4 options, and among the 4, 34% of you chose... The Creator takes place in the year 2065, 10 years after a war broke out between humans and artificial intelligence, and the film follows an ex-Special Forces agent tasked with hunting and taking out a target, only to find an advanced AI robot in the form of a child. As far as the cast goes, I'm only going to mention a handful of the actors involved, but starting with the soldier, Joshua, we have John David Washington. As Alfie, we have Madeline Univoilis. As Colonel Howell, we have Allison Janney. As Heron, we have Ken Watanabe, and as Joshua's wife, Maya, we have Gemma Chan. But getting into my review, I will be structuring it like usual, starting with the positives, then the negatives, then I'll end the review with my ranking. So without further ado, let's get into my review for 2023's The Creator. As far as positives go, the first one I have to mention is the visual effects. This film displays award-worthy effects that I honestly think could give Avatar a run for its money. Whether it be the effects on the giant spaceship and its beam, or the effects on the actors playing the robots, it all looks practically seamless and very mesmerizing. So at the end of the day, I would say this film is worth seeing on the big screen for the effects alone. But what also makes this film worth seeing is the performances from the cast. Every actor involved gives a very good, if not great, performance. Allison Janney was fun in the more antagonistic role she plays in the film. Ken Watanabe is great in his role. Gemma Chan gets a smaller role but still does great in the film. But the two that stand out most are John David Washington and Madeline Univoilis. These two have great chemistry in the film and play very well off each other. They are very much the heart of the film and play their roles perfectly. So as far as performances go, I think there's plenty of talent to be enjoyed. But the final positive I have is going to be the writing with both the story and the dialogue. As far as dialogue goes, I would definitely say there's a lot of drama to it, but there's also a fair amount of heart and humor. And as far as the story goes, I think the premise is very unique and the way it's built upon is very interesting. But that unfortunately leads me into my negatives, and the first negative is actually going to be the writing with the story. Now, there are aspects of the story I enjoyed, hence why I mentioned it in the positive section, but the thing that makes this story a negative is that there's just too much going on. There's a lot of great ideas in this film, but at the same time it felt like some of those ideas could have been saved for future films. And when there's too much going on, that often makes for another negative, and that is unfortunately poor pacing. The film's pacing in the first half was pretty steady, maybe rushing just a little bit, but by the time that second half came around, the rest of the film seemed like it kind of dragged in my opinion. On top of that, it felt as though there were 4 to 5 different endings. It felt like the film didn't know where they wanted to end it. And at the end of the day, I think a bit of an overly convoluted story is to blame. But that's all for the positives and negatives, so let's get into my ranking. Since this film is currently only available in theaters, I will be ranking it under the theatrical film ranking system. So as far as my ranking of 2023's The Creator goes, I'm going to go ahead and give it a standard ticket. Like I said before, this film is worth seeing on the big screen for the effects alone. Also has an interesting story, solid dialogue, and great performances. But due to an overpacked story and some poor pacing, this is unfortunately a film I don't see myself buying or even really rewatching. But that's not to say that others won't enjoy it, which is why I gave it a little bit of a higher ranking, giving it the benefit of the doubt. But those are just my thoughts on The Creator, and I'd love to see yours down in the comments below. Have you seen the film? What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? Have you not seen it? Are you planning on watching it in the theater, at home, or not at all? Really, any comments you have for me, I would love to hear from you. I respond to as much as I can. Also, if you ever want to participate in the polls like I did for this review here, just head over to my channel, find the community tab, and any future posts or polls will be there. But do me a favor and leave a robotic thumbs up on this video, click the robotic subscribe button, and ring the robotic bell for your own robotic dog.
We are humans. We are. For example, we consume food in the traditional human manner. Observe. Yum, yum, good. Yum, yum, good.